Hey everybody, Fulcher Rash. Welcome back to 365 Days of Irish Tenor Banjo Tunes. We are on day 183 today, which is really cool. It means no matter which way you slice it, we are at the halfway or have passed the halfway mark. If you're going with 365, that's 182.5. If you're going with 366, because this is actually a leap year, that's halfway, 183. So pretty cool accomplishment for me. I don't think I've ever sticked with something this long. So I'm gonna probably ramble a little bit before I get into the actual tune of the day today. So as always, if you look at the description at the bottom of the tune, you can find skip aheads, and this is in all of my tunes. So there's always a slow version, or generally speaking there's a slow version and then more of a moderate paced, and you can just hit the button to skip ahead to those if you're not interested in listening to me ramble on. So this whole thing started out a couple years ago. My dad was, my mom and dad were moving out of their house in rural Ontario, and they were moving into an apartment, and as such they were downsizing. And my dad has quite a few musical instruments. He's always played music, you know, mostly on his own in the basement of our house, but he's always played music. And my mom is Irish. My dad's actually Dutch, and my mom is Irish, and she bought him this banjo, and I don't know if she was thinking that he would get into it and play Irish music. She's always had this thing for sort of Appalachia and like old time music, and I thought maybe she just didn't know what she was actually buying with the banjo when she got him this thing, because it's a 4-string tenor banjo, not a 5-string bluegrass banjo. But anyways, my dad didn't play it a whole heck of a ton, but I thought it was kind of cool the way it came to me from them downsizing, and you know, my dad being a musician and my mom being Irish, and I thought, hey, this would be really cool, something to pick up. So a couple years ago I got this thing, brought it back here to BC, and I would sit out here on the porch. This is the porch couch, as I like to jokingly call it. It's from my wife's classroom, and it moved here to our deck one year when she was moving classrooms, and we've since enjoyed it here sitting on the deck in the summers. But so I would sit out here in the summer and goof around with this thing and try and learn some stuff, and I had no clue what I was doing. I'd print off some stuff off the internet and try and figure it out, and I really didn't know what I was doing. And so I did that for a couple months, and then I got this book called the Banjo Buddies, big book of 365 Irish tunes, along with a beginner book put out by the same person. So the Banjo Buddy is James Finnegan, and I would like to say a huge thank you to him for his beginner book and putting out this book and his tutorials on the internet. Kind of dropped off into nowhere for a little while, and now he seems to be back with more of a concerted effort to put out videos on a regular basis. I think he's actually moved to New York from Ireland by the sounds of it. But anyways, so this has been an awesome source. It's written in tab, ABC, and stave notation. So standard music, ABCs, which seems to be something more they teach in Ireland, and tab, which is something that I'm very, very familiar with from guitar, which is also the same as mandolin tab, by the way. So a really cool book. So I started goofing around a little bit with this the next summer, more or less, and I had a repertoire of maybe, I don't know, 5 songs that I could sort of pluck away at, and it was pretty slow. So I was kind of discouraged. I was hoping I could get better, but really I wasn't putting in the time either. So this last New Year's, I decided, well, heck, I'm gonna do a New Year's resolution. I never do New Year's resolutions. And I decided I'm gonna play a tune a day, every day, and I'm gonna record it, and I'm gonna post them on YouTube. And the idea of posting them on YouTube was more just to like keep myself accountable. It was like, I'll tell my friends I'm doing this thing, and then if I don't post them, they'll notice and they'll give me crap. Which hasn't been an issue, because I've posted them every single day. And it's made an enormous difference in my ability to both sight read and also play music. And I've also taken it up as something to try and listen to more traditional Irish music. And I think that's a really big key. If you're not listening to the music, it's really hard to get a feel for it. And still, even there's lots of tunes that I go to play them and I don't have time to listen to one, and I just put out this horrible rendition of it, or you can't find many examples. Normally, like, traditional Irish music is more of a thing where they teach it by ear. It's not something where you learn it as much from sheet music. So yeah, so that's been a little bit different, I guess, but it's given me at least some basic skills. So the idea being, I think, where I'm getting to, and I had an interesting conversation with somebody on a couple videos ago about this, is that I would really like to start learning by ear and also learning some tunes by memory. So right now, if you asked me to play a tune without this book around, I probably couldn't do it. So I would like to get to the point where I start to learn some tunes by memory and I can learn by ear. But the thing is, I think I really needed some basic skills, and this tune a day really forced me to get those skills underneath me of just playing every single day. You know, even if it's only 15 minutes. Normally I spend somewhere in the neighborhood of probably half an hour to an hour every day working on the tune a day. There was certainly a time when I started from the easy songs and then I went into the more sort of moderate, difficult songs. Well, not difficult, but sort of more moderate songs. And it took me a long time every day to get off a half-decent version. And if you've looked at my videos, you know there's not a lot of amazing versions out there of things. But now I feel like, you know, like if I've had a busy, hard day, I can probably, there's sometimes when I spend 15 minutes doing the tune of a day, and that's an okay thing. So anyways, that was a very long, rambly bit. I wanted to do something different for this being the halfway point, and I thought, well, maybe I'll do a YouTube live and I'll play through the tunes I've learned so far, which would have been like probably 4 or 5 hours worth of tunes, which would have been insane. But apparently when I went to YouTube and went to go post a live, it takes like 24 hours to get approved and a whole process and whatever else. So anyways, we're going to be doing the Mason's Apron today. And this is a tune that I've been working on for a little bit. I'm going to do the bare bones version as it is in the Banjo Buddies book. And then I'm going to do kind of a little bit more interesting version from Enda Ska Hill. Which brings me to another point I would just quickly bring up, is that if you are new to banjo, some of the resources which I have found absolutely super helpful has been, number one, the Banjo Buddies book, the big book of 365 Irish tunes. He also has a beginner book out. You can buy them both off of his website. Just look either the Banjo Buddy or James Finnegan. The other one, which has been like super duper helpful, is Enda Ska Hill. So he posts quite a few tutorials online. He's got a Patreon page that once you sort of subscribe to that, then you get access to his sound slice. So he often puts most of these videos up for free anyways on YouTube. But for me, the nice thing about them is you get all of the notation. So when I was first starting to want to add a little bit of ornamentation, and he does like a really simple bare bones version, and then he does a simple ornamentation version, and then he'll add something with chords, and then he'll do this like over the top version. I could look at it, and also with this tool you can slow it down, you can repeat over certain sections, all those, you know, things that just make it so that you can focus on what you need to do. He's also got this new thing he's just put out of sort of like exercises, which I did the first couple weeks of, and to be honest, I haven't followed it since. I just don't have the time. But the nice thing is that I think exercises are super important in anything you want to improve at. And so I'll be able to go back at those and work at them when I feel like, you know, I've got the time. Which I'm hoping after this whole year of tune a day thing, I'll be able to maybe take a little more of my own direction. The other resources I would just put out there of people that I have found super helpful. Ben Hockenberry posts tunes, which he often does kind of a slow, well, it's not super slow, but like a slower version and then a more moderate paced version. Great to get an idea of things. He's also got a couple of videos that have been out there for a long time of like top whatever it is, 10 or something reels, top 10 jigs, which is really good. And then for examples of tunes when I'm trying to like get the feel of a tune, although they generally play a little bit faster, I will look up Shane Farrell or Gavin McNutt. Those are also two excellent resources on YouTube if you're looking for people. Thesession.org is a good spot for music if you're looking to find out other names of tunes or the sheet music of tunes, and it'll come in like 6 different versions, which sometimes makes it more confusing than not. And the last person I want to give a shout out to is just somebody who subscribes to my channel, who interacts often. And I didn't start this thing out to be like, oh, I want to be some YouTube influencer and blah, blah, blah. But there is a certain amount of, it's not gratification, I don't know what the word is, but it's nice to be able to see that people are seeing your videos and they're finding them useful and they're interacting with you. So Mark Urbain, he's out of Belgium, I've just found out recently. He seems to watch most of my videos and makes comments from time to time, and I really appreciate that, Mark. I don't know if you know that or not, but it's kind of cool to see that I'm sending these things out there and actually somebody's watching them. You see the views, but at the same time, it's just nice to know there's an actual person who's getting something out of these. So if you're watching these and enjoying them, please subscribe to the channel and feel free to interact. I try to answer comments or at least acknowledge them. And like always, we're going to start off with a very slow version. We're going to start off with the Banjo Buddies version of the Mason's Apron. It is a reel in A major. that was just the simple version from Banjo Buddy, and that took me a long time to get right. But particularly those high B's I found really difficult in this tune. Anyways, now we're going to try and speed up a little bit and do Enda's version with some ornamentation and such. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, that might be the best I can do for tonight. I've really been at this a very long time. I tried using the sheet music that I printed out first, and there's one thing I'll say about SoundSlice. It's a great tool, except for the printing. It's absolutely horrible. You have no control over the size, and it comes out with the most minuscule font of the tab, and the lines are all like jammed together. It's really, really hard to read. If there's one thing I would say for them is they need to improve that part of things. So I was using the computer, and I've got an earbud in, and I'm just watching it and playing it like that. Now the problem with that is that this one that I'm playing, and it's called the 4-part tune slow, and I've got it at 110%, which is about as much as I can handle in the second half. But the funny part is with this one is that Enda actually plays it really slow at the start, and then he speeds up kind of as he goes, and it's by the end it's significantly faster than at the start. So it's like the start is too slow at 110%, and if I go any faster, then the end is too fast for me. So did my best with it. Pretty happy with that for a halfway mark tune, considering when I started this thing, I didn't even know what a jig picking pattern was. I didn't know what a difference between a jig and a reel. I could barely play anything. The idea of triplets was like completely beyond me. Now I'm playing 3-note triplets, you know, sort of, not well or anything like that, but I'm playing them, throwing in a little bit of chord, sort of double stop thing. That's kind of cool. So yeah, like I feel like I've progressed a fair amount. Anyways, I think that's it for tonight, and we will see you all tomorrow. Thanks a lot.